What if the world's most robust digital asset just broke? In this explainer, we're running a pretty serious thought experiment. We're going to push the boundaries of what many consider possible by exploring what would happen if Bitcoin were to fundamentally fail.
You hear it all the time, right? Bitcoin is digital gold. It's supposed to be secure, resilient, unbreakable. But that brings up a really fascinating question. What if that core promise turned out to be false? What would that shattering moment actually look like?
So let's dive in. We are about to explore the truly unthinkable, a total collapse of Bitcoin. And by imagining this scenario, I think we can really start to understand the true stakes of the systems we're all building. Now, to be super clear, we are not talking about a market crash, not a price drop, no matter how wild. We are talking about a fundamental failure of the Bitcoin protocol itself, the kind of failure that strikes right at its heart. So, how could that even happen? Okay, so this slide, it's pretty important. It lays out the only real ways this catastrophe could go down. First up, a cryptographic break. This means the core encryption that protects everything, like SHA-256, is suddenly proven to be totally insecure. Second, a global majority attack, where some hostile group gets sustained control over most of the network's computing power. And third, a hitting protocol flaw, a fatal bug that's somehow gone completely unnoticed for more than a decade. These are starting points, and yeah, each one is a black swan event of just immense proportions. All right, so let's just assume one of those impossible things happens. What's the immediate effect? Well, the first shockwave, that first ripple, it wouldn't be felt on Wall Street. No, it would be an extinction-level event right inside the crypto ecosystem itself.
Before a single dollar is technically lost, the most valuable asset in this entire space is just instantly vaporized, and that's trust. The foundational belief that a public blockchain is a reliable, tamper-proof ledger, gone. In a flash.
And look, this failure wouldn't just be about Bitcoin. It would represent the death of the core idea behind all decentralized systems. I mean, if Bitcoin can fail, what hope is there for anything else? The whole experiment of DeFi, decentralized finance, and the very idea of open, permissionless systems would suffer catastrophic, maybe even permanent damage to its reputation.
So with trust completely gone, the financial collapse is immediate, and it is absolute. This isn't a correction or a bear market we're talking about. It's a full system shutdown.
A protocol failure in Bitcoin means the system's anchor is just gone. That would trigger a violent, immediate collapse of all crypto markets. We'd see mass liquidations, a domino effect of insolvencies, and the failure of pretty much every major crypto company, exchanges, lenders, you name it. And oh yeah, this would absolutely spill over into traditional markets, as all the big institutions holding crypto are forced to sell other assets just to cover their losses.
And this brings us to the second ripple. This is where the digital crisis crashes hard into the physical world, affecting everyday people, big companies, and even entire national economies.
So the crucial point here is the sheer scale of the value that's at stake. We're not talking about millions or billions. A failure of this magnitude could mean the instantaneous destruction of trillions of dollars of perceived wealth held by people and companies all around the globe. And this table really breaks down who gets hit. You can see it right there. For institutions, we're talking huge pension fund losses, ETF failures, corporate treasuries just wiped out. For individuals, especially in countries where it's a hedge against inflation, it's the complete destruction of their life savings. Even the energy producers who support mining would face immediate financial stress and be left with a ton of stranded assets. Okay, the final ripple is the biggest and maybe the most permanent. After all that financial dust settles, a new global order would emerge, one that's shaped by the memory of this unprecedented technological failure. This is the key takeaway, right here. An event like this is so massive that it goes way beyond market dynamics. It becomes a matter of state power, of national security, and of the future of the internet itself.
So, what would governments do? Well, this slide kind of lays out the likely path, comparing the before and after worlds. You see the open, permissionless systems we have now? In the after column, they'd be replaced by forced centralization. We'd probably see emergency bans on crypto, and the push for state-controlled central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, would go into overdrive as the only safe digital alternative.
The long-term aftermath would be pretty grim. The attack would prove that core financial infrastructure is vulnerable, which would probably kick off a whole new era of nation-state cyber warfare. We could see developers and network operators facing criminal liability, and a chilling effect would fall over the entire field of cryptography, slowing down innovation for decades to come.
And that leads us to this quote, which honestly just perfectly summarizes the whole scenario. A fundamental failure of Bitcoin wouldn't be remembered like the crash of '08. It would be seen as a defining geopolitical cybersecurity event of the 21st century.
Okay, after that pretty apocalyptic scenario, I think it's time to pull back from the brink and get a much-needed dose of reality.
I want to be perfectly clear about this. Everything we've just walked through is a thought experiment. It's based on a premise that is considered wildly, wildly improbable. This whole explainer is about understanding the stakes, not predicting the future.
And here's why this is so unlikely. First, breaking the core cryptography, that would require a quantum computing leap that is still, for now, theoretical. A global majority attack, that would need a level of coordination and resources that is almost impossible to sustain. And maybe most importantly, Bitcoin's protocol is open source. It has been relentlessly attacked and scrutinized by the world's best security experts for over a decade, and it has never once failed.
But it does leave us with one last question to think about. This whole exercise isn't really just about Bitcoin, is it? It's about the nature of digital trust itself. By imagining the failure of what we think is our strongest system, we're forced to ask, what does it truly take to build something that lasts in the digital age? And what are we all willing to risk?